Well then, 100 episodes of Iron Horse Weekly is finally here, and it's going to be the last one. It is. This has been on my mind for a long while now, about where the channel's going, about where I'm going personally, what's happening in my life. And I've been wondering what direction to take things in. Been a long journey. Started over 4 years ago. I've always been into model railways ever since I was a young lad. My father worked at British Rail for 25 years since he was a young lad, and my granddad did the same since he left the war. He worked at Neville Hill Depot in Leeds, and when my dad came to be working age, of course back in those days you worked where your dad was, or you got a job in the local area because someone always knew somebody, and that's how you got work. Anyway, my dad joined as a cleaner and eventually worked his way up to be on permanent weighing points and everything else. And I'll always remember that smell of what a train station was like, or a railway station was like, back in the late 80s, early 90s. There was that smell of creosote and diesel fumes and oil and grease, and it was, to me, it was a wonderful smell. And it wasn't just chemicals and things, but it was a smell that meant adventure. It was a smell that meant we're going somewhere, something exciting is going to happen, I'm going to get to see somewhere new, and I get to go out with my family, and we're going to go to the seaside, which will be fun, and we'll build sandcastles, and we will have ice cream and fish and chips, and I might even get a new toy if I'm lucky. And it was such an incredibly joyous thing to experience as a young lad. And I always wanted a train set growing up. Always wanted a train set. You know, my dad would take me out to Heritage Railways. Keighley and Worth Valley Railway was the one that we always used to go to because it was only an hour from our house. And it was always dreaming of mine to have a model railway. And I remember, I can't remember how old I was exactly. I was around maybe 8 or 9, something like that. And back then I used to be obsessed with drawing, with artwork and what have you. And I said, Dad, can I have a train set for Christmas? And no. And then a few weeks before Christmas, my dad said to me, you're having a train set for Christmas, we're going to get you a train set. And that's all I did. I spent the weeks leading up to Christmas, every single day and night, with a pad and a pen, drawing different oval layouts with different combinations of sidings, and trying to find out what the most interesting layout would be. And nothing's changed in that regard. It's still the same. Still constantly sat there with a pen and paper or a computer trying to find out which layout is the best for me. And it all started with that little Intercity 125 train set that I got all those years ago. And my dad built me a huge 6 by 4 foot? No, 6 by 5 foot baseboard, which would used to sit on the chimney breast, and you'd have to pull it down, and then the legs would flop out and it would sit on the floor, and that's where I'd run it. And on payday, he'd take me to Beatties in Leeds City Centre, go upstairs to the training department, and we'll look at all these amazing models and each one of those models also represented the same thing that a visit to the train station did. It was just this uncontrollable excitement right in the pit of your stomach every time you walked through that door. The smell, the sight, the sound, it was the same as when I went to the real railway station. And that's always stuck with me. That's been the fuel behind everything. I remember we went to a car boot sale and we picked up this, I can't remember what it was. It was a little steam engine. It might have been an 04 or an 06 or I remember it being heavy. I can't remember if it was all die cast, but I remember it being heavy. I remember it stank when you ran it. You know that smell when you run an old DC motor, that, I think it might be ozone, I'm not sure, but that smell of burning electricity and grease and diesel coming from the commutator. And that again gave that same sensation. It took you to the same place that the real railway station did. That's always been a big part of it. Model railways have always been a part of my life, apart from when we did the whole high school thing and you get interested in girls and your mates and video games and everything else, and railways are a bit geeky, and so you put it on the back burner. Then you get busy in life. But I always wanted to go back to having a railway, but I never had the time, space or money. So about 5-6 years ago, I started to take an interest in the hobby again. But I never actually had a layout. It was just a case of looking at layouts on YouTube, funnily enough. And I saw Jenny's channel and a few other people that a lot of them aren't around anymore. I think it was Intercity 88. He was a regular. I used to watch. He's no longer around. And I used to watch hours and hours and hours of layout footage. Anyway, one fateful day we got the call saying there's going to be a lockdown. And we were told that we weren't to do anything, we were to sit at home and wait and be safe. And my little girl at the time said to me, "Dad, why don't we get a model railway? You like model railways, why don't we build a model railway?" And I says, "That's not a bad idea, even if it was a temporary thing, just to get us through the lockdown." So I went online and I found a Hornby starter set, a little Caledonian starter set, and it came with 3 horrible little plastic wagons that it cost like 60 quid. Got it home, built a baseboard, and running trains. And my little girl, she was so happy. She went, Dad, our dream has come true. We've got a model railway." I said, "That's right, love, yeah." And she had a go with it. She played with it for all of 10 minutes before promptly losing interest and leaving it to me. So there we are. She took all of 10 minutes interest, literally 10 minutes of interest, and that was it. So it was mine. So I'm left with a huge 6x8 baseboard with a little tiny oval track in it, thinking, well, what do I do now? And that's where it started. And if you go back to the early videos on this channel, you can see one of the first few videos I uploaded of the layout when I first built it and started it. Very simple, very crude, and I've learnt a lot since then. I like to think I have anyway, and there's still a lot to learn. I think the only thing that you know for definite is that you know nothing. You're always needing to learn more. There's always more to learn. So I started uploading YouTube videos because I wanted to emulate what I saw, the people that inspired me. So I thought I'll start making running sessions. I knew nothing about any of it, and it was horrible, terrible footage. The room was bright pink, so everything had this pink hue to it. But I stuck with it, progressed, and the channel views weren't really going anywhere. Started watching Jenny's live streams on a Monday during the lockdown. Those were always a big help to a lot of people, certainly to me. It was nice to have something, and it's fantastic that that's continued. And then one day I noticed my views were going up. I had 100 subscribers, and I never thought I would get 100 subscribers. And then fast forward a few years later, and I'm close to 3,000 now. I'm about 200, 300 subscribers away from 3,000 subscribers. Which is just, if you'd told me 4 years ago you're going to be 3,000 subscribers deep on YouTube, I never would have thought it possible. Been a long journey. I've done a lot, met many lovely people, and had some fantastic experiences along the way. And I think I need to thank a few people, really. And I'm really sorry if I don't mention your name personally. If there's something you've done for me, then thank you. I do appreciate it. And if you remind me what it is, I'll probably remember. Memory's not so good these days. But anyway. So first and foremost, I think I need to thank Jenny Kirk. She is one of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet, and I know a lot of people just don't like her for various reasons, and people don't like me for various reasons, and that's fine. Take a number and get to the back of the queue. But she opened up a world of behind the scenes model railways to me, and I first met her at DCC Concepts up at Settle. She announced she was working there, so I thought, well, I've been in DCC Concepts a couple of times, I'll go up and say hello. And I think I brought her a bag of sweets. I always buy people sweets. I'm always buying people sweets. Everyone. I always buy people at work sweets and treats and things and everything else. And because if I buy people sweets, that means I can buy myself some sweets. So it's ultimately a self-serving thing. Anyway, met up a few more times and things progressed, and then I started to get more friends with the chaps at DCC Concepts. Richard Brighton, Richard Johnson, young James, George, Mick, Anthony, the rest of the team. I'm sorry, but Richard Brighton, especially at DCC Concepts, has done so much for me and to help my channel in the way of just gigabytes of what would equate to gigabytes of technical help, advice. And it started out as a very professional relationship. I suppose you want to call it professional relationship. He gave me a chance. He says, take some things to review on my channel, which I have done. I did do. And no one else would give me the time of day, but Richard did. Richard did, and continues to his lament, to this day. And that was blossomed from a professional working relationship to a genuine friendship. Now I regularly just go up to Settle for a coffee with the guy, and we just shoot the breeze about the perils of working in retail and dealing with customers and their unique ways, shall we say. And of course, I then got invited to help them out at some shows, and oh my word, the other side of the velvet rope is wild. The work and preparation that goes into something like an event like Wally or Getz or Great Electric Train Show or Key Model World Live very recently or whatever. There's so much work and effort that goes into it by so many people, so many moving parts, and I was a part of that, and it made me feel so incredibly special and important. And I'm just a bloke with a hat and a camera. But somehow my luck came in, and I was given this chance to be part of something huge, be part of something important. And of course, that then meant the channel got more popular. And then because my channel was more popular, more people started to give me a chance. And I was getting invites from, first, another person I need to thank as well is Jonathan, Mike Wilde from Homey Magazine. Gentlemen, thank you for all of the invites I've had to come to your shows. Most recently was the new venture, Key Model World Live. Jonathan, fantastic. I did feel so bad walking in with Jen, and there was a queue of all these lovely, wonderful people that have been queuing all morning. They got there like 3 hours a little bit in front of the queue, and then and Jenny and our little entourage just waltz to the front of the queue, and Jonathan goes, "Come on, guys, get yourself through." Terrible Australian accent, Jonathan, if you're watching. I'm sorry, mate. It does come from a place of love and respect, mate. And John JMC, another legend of the model railway world. He's just, again, a great guy, a genuine friend. We talk all the time now, and he's done so many favours for me behind the scenes and continues to, again, for some reason, talk to me to his own lament. Of course, when we're on thanking people, Richard Watson, New Junction, at Curascale, one and the same. The guys at Curascale have been fantastic. Did a little bit of affiliation work with the Curascale. Richard Watson, Steve McCarran, genuinely nice chaps. Fran Burke, of course, Stevie. Both Stephens, actually. All three of them. There's probably a fourth one somewhere, but I've never met the fourth one, unfortunately. The affiliation thing was fantastic. Didn't work out for reasons I won't go into today, but that's not a problem. The friendship's still there, and the admiration for what those chaps do will always stick with me. And I always remember my friends and the people that did help and the people that said no. So it's worth knowing that. And again, there's been friends that we've made along the way. The retailers, the people that work at the retailers. And I support several retailers, and it's no secret that I have a few of them. We have, in no particular order, we've got Andy from Sawyer Models in Lee. Great chap. That's my local model railway shop. If it's only about 40 minutes away from me, so Andy's a great chap, and if you do get a chance to check his website out or give him a call, he will be more than happy to help you out. Then of course we have Alex over at TMC, great bunch of gentlemen over there, and they do this professional weathering service, which is just amazing. The graffiti on their stuff is fantastic. Then of course we've got John Barber over at Rails of Sheffield. We've got Matt as well, who again, just genuinely nice people. And there have been retailers that I've worked with recently that, for one reason or another, have, I suppose, I've fallen out of favour with them, really, for one reason or another. Perhaps the politics of model railways has taken its toll and strained the bonds of friendship a little bit. And it's sad, really, that those connections have loosened and broken. But this is where we are. And is it because of the content I make? Does it rub some people the wrong way? You can't please all of the people all of the time, unfortunately. But that is, as well as all the other things that I've been thinking about recently, have just got me thinking, to circle back around to the start of this video, about what I want to do with the Iron Horse Railways channel, with the content I bring to you lovely folks every week, and what I need to do for my personal life and my personal happiness. I work a full-time job like everyone else, and I manage a retail outlet, and that has its own stresses and things, and we've also got family life to worry about as well. And when you get 2 days off a week to do absolutely everything you need to do in life, and then you've got to make and edit a video, really you only end up with half a day off. Do absolutely nothing. In fact, maybe a few hours a week, because it takes quite a lot of time to film, edit a video, even writing a loose basic script, or even just thinking of a concept for a video can take up a lot of time. And it does kind of put you into this little shoebox if you will, of what you can and what you can't do. And I've tried a little bit of everything on this channel. I've tried showing weathering videos and making silly little films like Oh Mr. Iron Horse, and for some reason the thing that seems to be getting the views is this, me talking absolute nonsense to a camera about my thoughts, feelings and opinions about what's happening in the model railway world at the moment. Of course, inevitably you get shot at by critics who say that you're just in it for the clicks, you're clickbaiting, you're there just to draw the views in, and that's a properly cynical view. I try to be positive where I can. If something irritates me, I'll say that it's irritated me. But I will always try and see things from multiple points of view. And even if a video that I bring out looks at something from a very harsh standpoint, eventually, when the inspiration strikes, I will try and make an argument from the opposite side of the field, the other side of the fence, if you will, just in the interest of it being balanced. That's all it's ever been about, is just having a balanced discussion about what's going on with model railways, about this hobby which brings so many people together from so many different walks of life with so many different stories to tell. But the Iron Horse weekly format has, as of episode 100, come to an end. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm leaving the hobby, that you won't see any more content from me. It doesn't mean that. There will still be content coming, but I'm just going to have a little break for, it might be a week, might be 2 weeks, might be a month. I don't know yet. But I need to look back at what I've been doing with the channel, where I want to take the channel, what I want to do next. Maybe try some more experimental things. I'm not talking about filming things through like pink lenses. I'm just different types of model railway content. We've already got so many channels out there that do fantastic reviews, Jenny being one of them. And you've also got some great technical channels out there. Double O Bill, who repairs the old knackered triangle stuff and whatever, and so that base is sort of covered. You've got general modelling people like Luke Towend and Boom with dioramas, and there's a dozen people out there. And Charlie from Chadwick, he's a lovely chap, and he does a little bit of everything in terms of showing you how to do model railways. So all the bases in that regard have been covered, and not only do I just not want to step on someone's toes and become a competitor in that regard, but I just don't think I've got the right or the skill to do it to a point that's going to make any sense, that's going to be worth your time. So here I am, putting my thoughts down on film about model railways. And I'm just not sure if that, even that in and of itself, is sustainable forever, without being told that I'm being negative, without being told that my opinions are damaging, or without alienating people, without people, share a video and it gets taken down or removed because that person who owns a particular group doesn't agree with that standpoint or position. I understand that. You might not personally agree with it, but there may be people within your group that do. And I understand why an individual might feel the need to remove a video if it doesn't quite agree with their own sensibilities, ethos, whatever you want to call it. So I get that. And this is something else I also need to consider. So that's it. That's it. It's not the end, but it is the end of weekly. It is the end of Iron Horse Weekly. So when content does come, it will just have a title and it will have a theme. And it may be something like this. It may be something as arbitrary as a layout update, or maybe I'm weathering a particular wagon. I know a lot of people have seen the Accurascale MDO wagons that I weathered recently and expressed quite a lot of interest in me showing you how I did that. So that may well be the next thing that we see on the channel. It may be a layout update. At this moment in time, I just don't know. Now, if you do want to follow what's going on, the Facebook page will be alive and well. I post on there pretty much every day, if not every other day, about what's going on, what I've seen in model railways, and I talk to you guys on there all the time. So if you've got Facebook, hop on over there to the Iron Horse Railways Facebook page. It has the same logo as the YouTube page, so you should be able to find it. And give me a follow. Give me a follow on there. And you'll be able to join in with the chats and conversations we have over there as well. And of course, that will be one of the first places I post a link to any new content I make on YouTube. So it'll be your first chance to see it on there. And again, if you are free in July, I am still doing a beginner's course to weathering over at DCC Concepts up in Settle on the weekend of the 13th and 14th of July. So if you do want to learn the basics of how to start weathering your own wagons, then pop along. And you even get to keep the wagon that you weather as well, and a set of weathering powders. So when you think about that, it's actually quite a good bargain. And paying someone to do weathering for you is all well and good. I occasionally do commissions for people when I have the time. Again, working a full-time job, one of those. But if you wish to learn to do it yourself, which a lot of people do, then I think the technique that I've developed, and it's a technique that one of the techniques that I use on every piece of rolling stock that I weather, and it's easy. Anyone can do it. You don't need an airbrush. You just need a couple of makeup brushes, some weathering powder, a little bit of matte coat varnish, an aerosol lacquer, and a little bit of turpentine. That's it, and you can make your wagons look as dirty or as undirty as you like. Anyway, time has pressed on quite a lot on this video, guys, so I think we're going to end it there for now. Any questions, as usual, please just pop them down below. Please do subscribe to the channel. There's not going to be any content coming immediately, but the content will keep coming. It will. It's not stopping. I can't make that any more clear. The content is not stopping. It's just slowing down and changing. A bit like this hobby in general, really. It's just slowing down and changing. Becoming something different. Hopefully, something better. So, until next time, my friends, take care. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.